Hello Power Rangers Lightning Collection fans, and welcome back to my Power Month series here on Toku Topics. So today, for the 15th day, we are celebrating Power Rangers Operation Overdrive. And I figured kind of a fun idea because of the fact I had yet another MMPR Black Ranger figure enter my collection somewhat recently, is to make a custom figure, especially with the Lightning Collection going on a break. Who knows when we will ever get this, if we will ever get this. And it's pretty easy to make. So I started out here with a Hasbro Selfie Series figure, specifically of the Black Ranger. So I haven't really showed this off in any kind of video specifically, but this was one that I got back in April-ish, essentially, because basically, of course, it being another kind of Lightning Collection item, I had to get it, and I did get one. So here is the MMPR Black Ranger artwork on this box. But this time, I did not get one of me. I got one of Keyshawn, my roommate, my old roommate from college, which I put in quotes because it really does not look like him, at all. So I had released this YouTube short, which I'm going to put up on screen right now.
You ready? He's so damn dark. Damn. That doesn't look like me at all. It doesn't look bad technically. It looks like a nice figure, but it doesn't look like me. Does that look like me?
No.
And that was back in May when I first finally got this thing, because basically, yeah, that does not really look like Keyshawn. It's just such a dark skin tone, but I let him, have my phone. There's probably a video clip of it playing right now. I let him do the scan back in April because he was going to let me get another version of the Selfie Series figure, so that way I had all the different packaging and everything, which was the whole purpose of me getting these in the first place. But I have it, and I wasn't going to do a dedicated Selfie Series video on the Black Ranger. I didn't really feel like it was very necessary, but I do now have an extra Mighty Morphin Black body, and I was thinking, what could I do with this? Well, I thought of this. Buying a Boken Black vinyl figure, specifically one with the, I believe it was the Axle Tector armor, to cut that armor off, put it on that figure, and turn it into the Defender Vest version of Adam from Once a Ranger from Operation Overdrive. Now, this was inspired by a video already released by KIDM the Man a couple of, I think, years ago or months ago at this point, where he did this exact same thing, and I figured I wanted to try it as well. So I got a Boken Black figure vinyl off of Bai. It was $8 for the vinyl, but the only problem was that I was missing a helmet, because the Selfie Series figures don't come with the helmets. Well, thankfully, Jyuki Collects on Twitter, who's made some really nice looking Lightning Collection customs, I figured on the off chance he might have an extra figure helmet sitting around somewhere, and I asked if he did, and he did. So I bought a Mighty Morphin Black Ranger helmet from the Lightning Collection. I think this is an original one. I'm not sure which figure this one came from specifically, but I now had all the pieces that I needed to make a custom figure. And what's really nice about this vinyl figure, which I'll just go ahead and open up, because I believe it's not sealed or anything like that, so we'll go ahead and just open it up. We are going to be destroying it nonetheless anyway. So let's go ahead and open up the cardboard. So here is the vinyl figure of Boken Black. It's nice, it's quite nice, so we're just going to take an X-Acto knife, and we're going to cut all around this as carefully as possible, and then make a little cut right there at those lines, so we can actually open up the armor and place it on there. And I specifically got the Black Ranger one because it has these gaps filled in right there, which I'm not going to really probably deal with too much, and that's going to match the Black Ranger suit, so that's why I had to get Boken Black specifically. But it also comes already included with it, which is really nice, the kind of weapon that was used by this armor, and it's fully painted, and it's, roughly a 6-inch scale, but it comes with the drill version of this thing, which is just really cool that we have this there, so we can actually give it to him. And it might be a little oversized, because the vinyls are a little bit bigger than a Lightning Collection figure, but we're going to go ahead and take my X-Acto knife, and we're going to try to cut this off as easily as possible. So Boken Black, thank you for your service. We're going to make you into an Adam figure as easy as possible. So I've already started to make a little bit of the incisions. I've kind of made some cutting there, but it does help that you can just, pull this off of the joint and pull the arms out, so that definitely does help with the whole process we got going on here. So of course we have some more cutting to do, so let's get back to that and see how long it goes. But he kind of has head articulation, which I didn't expect these vinyls to really have. which is kind of interesting. So the more you know. So it's been a couple of days, and obviously I've done some dismantling. So I've pretty much finished cutting the armor off of the Boken Black figure. I think I did a pretty solid job. I could have maybe done a little bit of a cleaner job in some areas. But, you know, this was a little tricky. There's still a little bit of some black vinyl up there. We just kind of very carefully try to shave some of that off, which is not quite wanting to cooperate. That's a little cleaner, right? That's a little bit better. So, you know, it just takes a little bit of some trial and error, but here is the armor itself. Now, originally I dismantled this figure, so there's what is supposed to be Keyshawn's head and just a bunch of other pieces of this figure. I ripped his arm off, and I was thinking I could possibly, like, maneuver the armor around it without having to make a cut down the sides. That's just not going to happen. That's just going to be impossible. So, to finish this off, I am going to make small little cuts on what is already a line right there anyway, so that kind of does help. So just going to kind of do a slight cut through the center of this thing down that line. Okay, so that has cut the armor open, and now what I should be able to do is take the figure, maneuver it around that piece there, clip that onto there, grab his arm that I ripped off, which I didn't really need to do. And yeah, that fits on there pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then we'll take this and we will re-clip the torso on, which I really didn't need to take apart. Okay, so there's the torso. And this is on, and it's not a perfect fit. Clearly, there's a little bit of a gap there, but you know, it's not supposed to be an armor for this figure anyway, so all things considered, it definitely could be worse. And then, finally, which I will zoom out a tad for so we can actually see it. There we go. Is it the most perfectly scaled version of that weapon? No. But it definitely does get the job across, or get the point across. And we'll take that out of there. That looks pretty solid. All things considered, I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. So yeah, that is a Defender Vest version of MMPR Black. Let me go ahead and grab the Atom head from the Wave 12 version and that Blade Blaster and everything he's supposed to have, and kind of just make this a little bit more complete so we'll get it on the turntable and everything. But let's kind of get a closer look real quick before we do that. So here is the armor there. It does cover up the torso, like, pretty much exactly how it's supposed to. There's just a little bit more of that vinyl there a little bit. You know, some areas where I wasn't 100% perfect with it. But the arm does kind of cover where I had to make that cut there down the back, which is kind of nice. And what's cool is that since it's like that, I can just take the armor off and give it to, like, any kind of figure that I would want, which is also kind of cool. And then I do like the blaster in his hand. It's maybe a little too big, but I think it works, all things considered. So that is how you can, with, you know, I mean, all things considered, this was what? Like, you don't have to get Selfie Series Black specifically, right? So you can get any MMPR Black, which is going for like, I don't know, like $20-ish, $25-ish dollars, pretty much any version of it. Like, even the regular Zack isn't that expensive. And then I paid $8 for this, for the Boken Black vinyl. And then, of course, just an X-Acto knife. And then you can make the Defender Vest version from Once a Ranger with probably about $40-ish dollars, which is not terrible for a custom figure, honestly. And I'm quite happy with the results of this. So let's go and grab that Atom head and wrap up this video. Okay, so I have brought in the Atom head sculpt from the Wave 12 Black Ranger, and I really like how this looks. Like, this looks like a fully official figure to me. And I also gave him the Blade Blaster holstered mode from that figure as well. So yeah, this is excellent. I'm a big fan of how this all turned out. I will say I, of course, would have preferred, or, you know, somehow to have a Atom that actually looks like him from that episode from Always a Ranger. Obviously, this is a younger Atom. But, I mean, this would be such a cool figure for them to make someday. You know, it would have been simple, I feel, because, like, obviously we haven't dived into Operation Overdrive, but you would just have to make the vest and a new head and the weapon, and you could, you know, obviously make it with just a regular Mighty Morphin Black, like, figure. So, I don't know, this would have been really cool, but it's a simple thing to do. I think it turns out really nice, and I'm a big fan with how it all came together. So, that's going to do it. That's going to do it for this episode of Power Month here on Toku Topics. So let me know down in the comments below, did you ever even consider making this? Are you going to maybe make it? You don't even have to, of course, use Selfie Series Black for this because, like, for example, if you bought this figure, the Atom Wave 12 one, you could use the extra Black Ranger or something like that to make it into this. If you have Remastered Black, if you have the Zack version from Wave 6, that kind of thing. So lots of possible opportunities here. And once again, I want to thank Jyuki Collects for supplying me with this Black Ranger helmet, which was perfect to finish out the custom. And of course, like I said, I got the Boken Black vinyl figure for like $8 off of Bai. So the Selfie Series figure was like $40. This was $5, and then this the armor stuff was $8. So you could make it cheaper just because the Selfie Series was already expensive to begin with, but this was not my intention behind buying the Selfie Series. It just came with an idea that I wanted to do for Power Month. So that's going to do it. And of course, until next time, you guys can follow me on Twitter at LivingRangerKey or LandFicPR, and I will see you all later. To wrap up this video, I'd like to thank my $5 and above patrons: Jurassic Samurai, Robert Browning, Static Thunder, Brendan Overland, Maji Yellow, MCPC Studios, Comics 1017, James Darty, Eric Berry, Matthew Thorne, Josh Landry, CPT Tesla, Cross SCV, Caboose Ed, Socket Monsters, Anthony Love, Daniel Pika, Hella Geo, Thrasher, Jesus Prime, Uni Warrior Thomas, and Lewis Carnes. You can support Toku Topics for as little as $1 a month on my Patreon, linked in the description below.